Rolling. They see us rolling.
Sorry,
I was like, did I just hit record? We just went dead.
No, I was trying to say it, but I thought I was about to cough. Now I got mucus.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, what do you mean we? Tyler's the one that fires it up every time.
No, I was like, what happened? We died?
Welcome back, guys.
Hey, actually, hold that thought real quick.
Yep.
I gotta kill this fucking thing because that's all I hear in the background. 1 second. I gotta kill that for a minute.
I would have died if he actually pulled out a gun. It's dead.
Right.
Did you actually see this picture that the guy sent that he's talked about, where his encounters by this cave?
I believe I did.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm just saying, it's creepy as fuck. Dude, this that's awesome.
Which guy are we talking about?
Glenn.
Glenn. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is.
All right, sorry. Just telling Sam that this microphone is it's supposed to be kind of focused on what's right in front of it, but for some reason this goddamn condenser is like, ooh, background noise. Don't mind if I do. It's like, oh, is that a fan 2 rooms away? Let me just focus on that. Son of a bitch.
Okay. But yeah, that's the cave. That's the cave I was talking about.
That's fucking badass.
I'm just
Is
saying.
that the Glenn dude?
Yeah, dude. I'm just saying, no matter what, this would be a good expedition just because of the creep factor.
Yeah.
Would be cool to break out the old, oh man, it would be great to break out the GoPros and put a video out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we don't get off sidetracked.
Yeah.
Okay. We're recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome back, guys, to the Kentucky X-Files.
Oh.
I actually heard that. I
I heard that one.
I love the pitch shifts. Is it
it was a 2-parter, yeah.
2-parter? A harmony?
It was 2-part harmony. One day, when we actually have a show budget, I'm gonna hire a barbershop quartet to stand behind me, and you're gonna be like, "Welcome to the Kentucky X-Files," and then you're gonna hear them be like, "Kentucky X-Files," and I'm just gonna act like I didn't even hear it. You'd be like, "What the hell is that?" I'll be like, "What are you talking about, man?" I don't.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh my god. This is exciting.
It's solid.
This is exciting stuff. I'm excited. You guys excited?
I am. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I feel like you're trying to make it suspenseful.
I'm not. Or am I?
Your voice says otherwise.
Am I? Am I making it suspenseful? Anyway, sorry. I got to get out of the mode. I was I've been working on an audiobook on the side, so it's like I'm still in that mode and I can't help it. I need to get out of it because I feel like everything I'm doing it like I'm reading.
Right.
You know what I mean? I could grab the ingredients. The ingredients on this can: total fat, 0 G's. You know what I mean? It's like you can't get out of the mode once you're in it. No, this is exciting. So we're back. We're going back to the Beverly Hills Supper Club fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And last time we fleshed out everything that most of everything that happened, and a lot of the the circumstances, kind of a little bit of the timeline and whatnot. And I found something which I'm going to insert here into the episode here in a second. It's it's like a recording of the original news report from after it happened. So I tell you what, here, check this out. I'll put it in right here, and I can cut that in, and then we'll back or whatever. So that's the original. That's what happened then. So we're caught up on that. What I wanted to tell some of our listeners about, or all of the listeners who want to hear it, is some weird stuff that's happened afterwards, right? So it's two different locations. You got the Supper Club location itself, which for years was basically just debris. And I don't know, have you ever walked up there, Josh? Did you ever go up on that hill and take a look at it?
No, I never got a chance.
A buddy of mine and myself, I actually just ran into him last night, which was kind of a weird coincidence, but I mean, he does live out here, so I guess it's not that big of a coincidence, but we were both younger and we wanted to be ghost hunters, right? We were like, dude, we're going to go hunt some ghosts. It's going to be great. Oh my God. So we get a couple of these like cheap film cameras, these old Nikons, right? And we go literally parked at the little like hospital thing right by the site, and we walked up the hill in the evening, right? Which I don't recommend.
Right.
I can tell you from firsthand experience that the trail that was leading up to it was so overgrown, and it got so dark so fast. That by itself was absolutely creepy. Like it was like you felt like you were in a scary movie just from that. And then when we got up to the site, the amount of debris that was still there after all this time was breathtaking. You could still see foundation. You know what I mean?
Right. Most of that's gone now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, now it's gone. And I'm talking like this was probably, see, my daughter's 18, so this was 19 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe more. I don't know. Shit, it could have been longer than that, to be quite honest with you. But we went up there. We were snapping pictures of the place and walking around and taking a look. And there was literally debris everywhere, you know, and on the ground and piles of bricks and wood. And I mean, just the state of decay. You know what I mean? I mean, it was literally, you could just see it. Something was here, and the amount of crap that was laying around was just remarkable. So we're taking pictures, right? We got this big flash or whatever, and we had these big flashlights and whatnot. He had this big spotlight. So we're looking through. We're climbing all over. I mean, like I said, it's the evening time. It's not pitch black up there when you get to the top of the hill, but it was still dark. And we're climbing all over debris that's been sitting there for multiple decades, right? So it's like not a brilliant idea. And we started taking pictures.
Good way to get tetanus.
Oh yeah, easily, yeah, right. So we're taking pictures and we're looking around. Never got any kind of like creepy feeling or anything like that. You know, never felt like, you know, there was a presence or anything. Just felt creepy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like the void of life was the feeling there. Like there was nothing there. You know, it was like I imagine it's something like an archaeologist finds the remains of an ancient fucking village or something. It's like this was alive once and now it's not. So we're like, dude, this is amazing. We spent like a good couple of hours walking around up there, picking through stuff and snapping pictures. And eventually we were both well versed on the history, you know, and all that. We're like, well, shit, let's go to the armory. You know, let's follow the trail. Let's go from here. We'll go up and go to the armory. Since when the supper club thing happened, you know, as you well know, the bodies and such were hauled up to the armory because there was nowhere big enough other than that to keep everybody. You know what I mean? I need some of the old pictures. You can see where they marched people down the hill to safety. So they had a tremendous amount of unfortunately dead people that they had to identify and lay out somewhere. So up the street is the Fort Thomas Armory. That's where they went, to the big memorial hall thing. So that's where we went. We were like, let's go here. So this is actually the creepiest part of it to me, because we jumped in the old truck and we rode up there, got out, grabbed our cameras, grabbed our flashlights, grabbed everything we needed, and we walk into the armory in the middle of the evening, and there's not a soul there. And this place is wide open. So, for anybody out there who's ever been to the armory, it's a really big place. And the memorial hall is huge and very creepy. And it's wide open, lights are on, and there's nobody there. So we're literally walking through this building, so silent. I mean, every footstep is reverberating down the hallways, right? Snapping pictures. And literally every now and again we're going, hello, anybody home? And nothing. That was creepy. Because we're like, why is this wide open? You know, like, there's no one here.
Right. Like what day of week was it?
I want to say it was on a weekend. I mean,
That makes it even weirder.
yeah, because it was crazy. The lights were on. It was wide open and it was empty. So we're walking through, taking pictures of every corner. We found the room, the gymnasium where the bodies were laid out, right? And we snapped pictures of it. And we kind of hung around for a while, and we discussed the whole thing. You know, we went out to the parking lot and kind of hung out by the truck and talked a bit about, you know, what had happened and whatnot, and how weird it was that we were there by ourselves. And that was that. We were like, okay, well, you know, and I even remember saying, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna drop this film off at Walgreens, which was the go-to for developing film back then, and I'll let you know if I see anything. And, you know, that was that, you know, blah, blah, blah. Dropped off the film. A couple days later, I picked it up. And in my pictures, up on the hillside, was, every now and again, was these crazy shadows. The shadows were tall and dark. Like, extremely tall and dark, right? They weren't like, I don't know, they weren't like small, I guess. They were just like really lanky and dark shadows every now and again. And my first thought was like, well, you know, it was probably something that happened to the camera. And it was an old camera. It was an old like mechanical Nikon, you know what I mean? This was well before digital cameras were even coming into, you know, prominence. So I was like, that's pretty weird. It's creepy, you know. I was like, I thought it was cool because I'm like, wow, these are creepy pictures, you know. This is cool, but I didn't really, you know, think like, oh man, I caught ghosts, you know what I mean? So got through those, and like I said, there was the dark shadow, like figure-ish pictures, you know, whatever. I got to those, I separated all those out, and I kind of made a pile of them, and then I opened the other envelope for the armory pictures, and in the armory pictures, I had similar shadows in those, but they were different shaped. And they were in different positions. Like, at one point, I had one that was like a hallway leading to the gymnasium, and at the end of the hallway, I had a little dark shadow standing there. And then in the gymnasium itself, I had multiple dark shadows standing there. And I remember getting together with that friend and showing him, and he was like, oh my God. You know, like, what do we have here, you know? And then I was like, hey, you know, hold your horses, man. We gotta eliminate the possibility that the camera's messed up, you know? So we put in a new roll of film, and we basically went out and just blew through this whole roll of film, just taking pictures of anything and anywhere or whatever. And when we got it back, there was no shadows in it whatsoever. The only shadows I had were in the armory and the actual supper club's site. So weird little incident, you know what I mean? And I'm actually fairly certain that I can get my hands on those pictures if I can get over to, there's a storage unit that my parents have, that I have a trunk with all that stuff stored in. And if I can get in there and get those pictures, I could actually upload them and let everybody see them. I mean, they've been in there for like 19 years or so. So who knows what kind of condition they're in? But hey, you never know.
Right.
Yeah, most of the haunting stuff that comes about the supper club is a lot of like local legend, local folklore. You know what I mean? Especially in regards to a lot of the folks believe that it was deliberate, and because of that, the spirits that haunt the site and haunt the armory are basically there because they were wronged in their life, you know what I mean, or whatnot. I don't know. Have you ever heard anything like that before? Because it's pretty wild.
I I honestly haven't ever heard any of the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
So I tried to look some up and couldn't find any. Um, so I'm guessing most of it doesn't make it to the internet. Most of it's probably word of mouth from person to person.
That's where I heard all of it. I mean,
Right.
you know what I mean? I heard everything from people while I was out, delivering. I kept picking people's brains about it just because I saw like flyers about the supper club.
Right.
You know. And interesting side note was, are you guys familiar with? It's a local legend. They call them the holes to hell. You guys familiar with those?
I've
Okay.
never heard of that.
This is a weird one that I never heard of
wait.
until recently.
I think we've talked about it on the show.
Yeah, like down in the basements of some of these buildings or whatnot.
Okay, so yeah, that part, yeah. But I I could have swore we talked about. Oh no, wasn't that in Hawaii or something?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we talked about those, but this is a local legend. I guess it's named the same thing, but
Right.
the rumor is that down throughout like Newport, Covington, the area, even into Cincinnati, are these massive holes in these basements of certain buildings, right? And apparently these were used to dispose of one's enemies.
Really?
Yeah, apparently the organized crime and mafia was a big deal, several decades ago down through there. So I guess it was easier to get rid of people that way. I don't know. But apparently every one of those buildings that's supposedly has one of these holes in it is like haunted to the gills, which I guess makes sense. I don't know. But I was down at the, what's it called? The Madison North a few weeks back, delivering there. And one of the, I guess, I don't know what you call him, like the manager or whatever it was, she ran the place, was telling us all about several legends that there was one of those holes like in the basement of the place somewhere. Even they didn't know where it was because it was like walled off and all this.
Ooh, nice.
And that there were so many things. And another interesting thing was right down the street from that Hotel Covington, I believe it is.
Yeah.
The guy there told me that apparently one of the old buildings that had burnt down completely and was rebuilt, there was actual markings from the Underground Railroad, like still on the walls and stuff.
See, no, okay.
Which is interesting.
That I don't believe.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll explain a little bit of that because I've done a lot of work downtown and a lot of work in Covington and Cincinnati. Now, the reason I don't believe those markings are from the Underground Railroad is because my guess is they're actually from bootleggers and Prohibition.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Now, okay, follow along with me on this one here, listeners, you guys.
Yep.
If you were a person who, in order to hide your identity, had to cover yourself from head to toe because your skin gives you away, would you A, try to escape through the night through the most populated parts of the area, right through two major cities, or would you B, go down the river towards Mount Adams and cut across there where there is no city.
That's true. Yeah, it makes more sense.
So I know that the building that I built last year in Covington, there was basements that were discovered in the parking lot when we were digging it up. And there were tunnels that went across the street, the 8-foot by 4-foot tunnels that, was all over the place down there. That is from bootleggers.
Okay.
Because the bootleggers need to get the booze to the area where the people are.
That makes sense.
So, contrary to popular belief, Cincinnati itself was not a major hub for the Underground Railroad, but the outskirts of Cincinnati was.
Okay. Makes a lot more sense, though.
You're going to find more stuff like towards Anderson Ferry or Mount Adams or on down towards Maysville in those areas.
Right.
Where people cross because, man, I mean, if you're trying to hide, do you run to the city or do you run to the woods?
Yeah. It makes more sense.
So, sorry about that. A little history lesson. Folks.
No, that's interesting because, I mean, it doesn't necessarily, like disprove the markings underground. It just makes them make more sense.
Right. So, yeah, if you've got hellholes and you've got bootleggers and you've got the mafia, all three of those make more sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's architecture that is and city planning that went into combating the Underground Railroad. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not. But if you're in the city of Covington and you're facing north to Cincinnati, within a foot of each other, the north-south streets line up perfect from one side of the river to the other. However, none of those streets have a bridge that lets you pass directly across. Okay?
Okay.
That's why if you go all the way north on what is that, Scott or Madison?
Right.
If you go all the way north and you want to cross into Ohio, you have to go across the block and over to go across the Roebling Bridge. Right? Once you've crossed the Roebling Bridge, you do not line up with another main street going straight up the hill. You have to go one way or the other. It forces you to turn. So when Covington wanted to put the bridge in, Cincinnati said, if you're going to put this bridge in, it cannot line up with our streets because we don't want slaves running straight across and having a straight shot to get out of the city. There has to be a place for them to slow down so that they can be caught.
Okay.
Pretty wild, terrible shit,
Yeah, wow. That's crazy. I had no idea about any of that.
And what's amazing to me is that directly across from the Roebling Bridge, when you go across that bridge into Cincinnati and hit that roundabout, right across the street from it is the Freedom Center.
Yeah, that is funny.
Right.
Ironic.
Right. It's like that bridge was put there to keep freedom from happening.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. A little history lesson.
It's wild. It's crazy because it's almost like you can't get the actual history. You know what I mean? The way you'd like to be educated in it. You almost have to get it. From the people.
Right.
It's really interesting. That's all this like the supper club and stuff. I literally got turned on to the subject because I kept running into people and talking to them about it, and then I was like, that's why I sent you guys the message, like, hey, you guys want to dive into the supper club a little bit, And some of the stories, man, holy crap, like the armory hauntings and stuff,
right?
Like you said, there's not a whole abundance of this stuff online. It's like you have to go there and talk to them about it.
Yeah, it has to be dug up.
Yeah. And the one thing that got me that was interesting was very, very close to the armory is a spot that was fairly. This is also another interesting coincidence, and I'll explain why. But pretty close to that was another site that was fairly common for people to see the Lady in White.
Yeah.
Not even 5 minutes away from that. And I thought that was interesting because not even a few hours ago, we received a message on our Facebook from a guy who was on his way to the store around midnight, and he said on his way back he passed a woman standing on the side of the road, and after he passed, he pulled over on the shoulder because he was going to offer assistance. He thought she was in trouble, and there was nobody there. When he seen her, she was standing beside a rock wall, dressed in a white dress, and then she was just not there at all. He said that there's a rock facing, there's nowhere for her to go. And he thinks that he witnessed a woman in black, or a woman in white, sorry. So I thought that was pretty interesting because literally there's a woman in white legend like right by the armory.
That's cool.
I think, what's it called? Mary Ingalls there?
I think so, yeah.
I think in the same place, Mary Ingalls Highway.
No, isn't that Walton?
Might be. I might have it backwards, but yeah, it's like right there. And there's another pretty common.
Oh no, that is Silver Grove.
Is it?
I forget what the one in Walton is.
I don't know. That's interesting because the lady in white, that occurs like all over the country. That's something people see all the time. You know, we just happen to have our own. Multiple people have reported seeing a woman in white right there on the road. But I mean, judging how bad that road is down there, you're liable to see anything. It's a very treacherous road. Yeah, it's really interesting. There's a lot of that stuff down there. I know. You ever been down there to the Syndicate in Newport?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's another one that's got some awesome stories going on in it. And I actually talked to the ladies that run that place about possibly grabbing the recorder and going down and just recording a couple of their experiences to play on the show.
Nice.
One of them had seen like an old man just standing in the middle of the room. And she said she turned and seen him, and then she actually engaged him. She's like, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then as she got closer to the room, and the room is lights out, all the light coming in is from the next room over, right? As she got closer and closer, she realized the dude was not there. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was like you saw it out of the corner of your eye. When you got close, he was not even there in the first place.
Nice.
Yeah, so very, very wild, you know. And I told her, because she had said that there was another lady there who like literally she would refuse. Like she's like, nope, not into it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to sound like distracted here, but we just had a message come in literally right now. And I'm reading it, and wow. A hell of a story here. We might have to bring this up on the next show. Apparently, we've got something that has to do with the what was it? The Hopkinsville?
Yeah.
You know, the little goblin guys.
Yeah, little green men of Hopkinsville.
Yeah, it looks like we've got something. Got something that came in that has to do with that on the Facebook page. It's a pretty big read. You know, that's something, man. I will say this to you guys out there listening to the show: keep it coming. You know, because you could tell that we're doing this. We're recording this while we're doing it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm literally looking at the messages while we're recording this episode. And I will say that you guys keep sending in what you're comfortable with, and we will keep going over it. Tyler, did you die?
While you're doing that, I'm looking up more of the haunted places in Newport and Southgate.
Nice. Oh yeah,
that's another one that I don't. The history in Newport. I mean, let's to put it in perspective of how heavy the mob was here. All right.
Yeah.
Some folks have heard of the Southgate House in Newport, Kentucky. That's not the real name of that place. We know it as the Thompson House.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason we know it as the Thompson House is because that was the Thompson machine gun mansion.
Yep.
So Tommy guns were born in Newport, Kentucky.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yep. The street sweeper.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But yeah, that's man, I tell you, it can you imagine what it was like that night there, during the fire or right after the fire?
Oh god, I couldn't imagine.
You know?
I couldn't imagine.
I would imagine that even if ghosts, hauntings, paranormal isn't real,
No.
I would imagine that the people around that night experienced a haunting of their own.
Oh god, yeah, I mean, it had to be absolutely horrific. I'm actually looking at the map as we speak of where it happened. I can see Tower Park. Yeah, the old Beverly Hills Drive is still there, like still.
Right.
Crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of curious as I know they're developing a new thing up there right now. I'm really curious as to how this is going to play out.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're putting something, what is it, homes, I guess, up there. They're putting homes, like new homes, basically over the site. And I'm just really curious, like, you know what I mean? What are we going to hear about after that?
Right.
What is that going to be like?
Who knows, man? And the thing of it is, though, is there's probably going to be people there that don't even know the history.
Right. I mean, there's a memorial sign at the bottom, but
how many people do you know stop and read those signs?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm working downtown or anywhere where I'm walking, I'll stop and read a sign.
Yeah, there's a big cross on the site. There's it's actually towers of trees.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like the people, the survivors. I think it was the people that survived the fire. They put up that memorial, like this big cross up there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Pretty wild, man. I know when I went up there with my buddy and we were walking around, there was some stuff hanging up, like in the trees up there. You know what I mean? I can kind of remember like where people had putting flowers, up there and stuff like that. And I kept thinking to myself when I saw that was like, wow, it's been all these years and someone is coming up here and still tending to it. And I thought that was really awesome. Somebody still cared, enough to go up there and put flowers down and actually show respect to it.
Right.
There's still good people out there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, as far as like me and my friend's story goes, I don't know what the deal was, but if I can get those, if I can get my trunk of pictures, and I have a bunch of stuff I'd like to show everybody, and they're all, like I said, they're not digital. They're all, they'd have to be scanned in, if you can believe it.
We can do that. I got a scanner on my phone.
There we go. See, it's so amazing, isn't it? You have a scanner on your phone. I remember when a scanner was this big extra thing that you had to get.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a pretty interesting night, and definitely interesting place to take a look at. I always found it to be more interesting than even Bobby Mackey's. Going down through there. I don't know. It was the only weird thing that ever happened at Bobby Mackey's was I think a ghost bummed a cigarette off me, and we got some weird pictures down in the basement. Couldn't really explain at the time, but hey, I mean, again, it's one of them things where you're like, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. That whole side of Campbell County is, it's, I mean, you figure that, it's, that county is surrounded by water. Again, this falls back to everything we've mentioned in the past is, anytime anything weird's happening, there's running water.
Yeah. Conduit.
Mm-hmm. It's got the Licking River on one side and the Ohio River on the other side.
Right. True. I don't know. I mean, Kentucky's an interesting place, though, just in itself. I mean, I don't know. I mean, either Kentucky is just like one of the most haunted places in the world. But I don't know. But we're definitely a magnet for activity. We're like a hot spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
They say what was the one thing that they always say about us? There's so many. What are those? Was it ley lines?
Yeah.
That run through this state.
Right.
Yeah, and they said that triggers paranormal or supernatural types of events.
Right.
So. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I that's something that I've never really got into, the whole ley lines things. I don't know really much about it. Be cool if anybody out there's really dug deep into it. Hey, send us a message.
Yeah, it'd be great to know. Yeah, what is the common? It says here the common belief is that the original, like I guess the original Europeans and Native Americans believed that Kentucky was considered the dark and bloody ground.
Right.
We were. This was a place not, what do you call it? Not necessarily great for like settling. It was more like a hunting area.
Right.
And that several conflicts had broke out here, blah blah blah. That my grandmother believed that. She believed that Kentucky was never meant to be settled. It was just meant to be a like a hunting land or whatever. Which might be, I mean, there might be something to that. I don't know. I mean, I can remember being a kid and seeing the collection of. Hold on 1 second. I got a problem with my mic here. There we go. I remember seeing the collections of arrowheads down in our creek bed, and I always thought it was crazy the amount of arrowheads that were pulled out of this creek down here.
Right, just the amount in one location.
Yeah, it was staggering how many, And for the longest time, I was convinced that it was just the way the water eroded them. I was like, "There's no way there's this many arrowheads down here. It's got to be. Right. It's got to be because the water just eroded them this way or something. I don't know." But the older I get and the more I research it, the less likely that is. Like, no, there's
Right.
just a staggering amount of arrowheads. Why? You know? Oh, pretty interesting stuff, though, guys.
I concur.
And that's pretty much all I had on the rest of the supper club. Was a lot, like I said, a lot of folklore, a lot of local legend. You know, I know we have a lot of stuff coming up. Some of the stuff that's coming up is mind blowing. But guys out there listening, man, oh my God, wait till you get a load of this stuff. It's crazy.
Do we have any comments and emails that we wanted to go over?
We have okay, so we have right then before when I was talking, one just came in, right? But there's so much to it that I really think that we might want to just honestly give it its own episode. To it.
Yeah, I know that, but I was just more along the lines. I thought you had I thought you said that we had other like emails and comments that you wanted to go, like especially comments from the YouTube. I thought you said that we had some new ones.
Let me see here. I think we did actually have some follow-ups to last week that probably bear mentioning here. One here said, I enjoyed your show. The Beverly Hills Supper Club site has become a sacred place. And I agree with that. Definitely is. Yeah. Another one here is from Molly Lollipops. We see her all the time on here. Big shout out to her. Said, I really appreciate you guys making the time to do this every week. I never thought about how hard it can be to work out 3 schedules to be able for you guys to get together. I hope you all had a good weekend and have a great day. She's just nice. She's just a good person, you know.
Sweet person.
And she's right. Sometimes it can be quite difficult.
Yeah.
Here's another one that says, a very good friend of mine attended the night of the fire. She got out alive, thank God, but had a hard time dealing with the loss of life. I totally can understand that. I could see that being tough to deal with, especially with a tragedy of that magnitude. Stephen Doms, the ever-present, always dedicated. So glad that he's around. Says he was a great show and he couldn't wait to hear more about the Supper Club fire, which will be this episode. So Steven's going to get what he wants. Thank you, Steven. I really it really means a lot to see you commenting every week, you know?
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Molly follows up with, for many years as a teen, I thought the house I lived in was on an Indian burial ground. My parents had the house built, and someone told me that's what the land was. Oh, memories, right? Absolutely. I stand by what I said. The whole country is an Indian burial ground.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be shocked at this point.
Right.
Got one from Russ here that said, either I missed it or I did not get the notification. I guess better late than never. Hope everyone has a great week. Yep.
You know, he's not the first person I've heard of that's not getting notifications.
Yep, I've heard it too. I don't know what's going on with that, but I don't know, YouTube. YouTube, you better start treating us better.
Right?
All
coming up.
All right.
One of these days, we're just going to sit down and do an episode and read some of the stories people have told us on the chat.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sounds great. I think we got one here. It looks like you just were up here. I'm gonna see if I can get her on the phone with us for maybe one of the next episodes. Let's see if we can't get her story out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've got 2 or 3 here lined up to talk to us, but unfortunately the last couple of weeks has been crazy busy for all of us. It's been really hard for us to get together and get a guest on the phone. So that's why there's been a delay. Again, you know, we work full-time jobs. You know, we're doing our best what we can, but it is what it is.
We all work full-time jobs. And this isn't our only outlet of media, too.
Yeah.
You know?
Hashtag show us.
Yeah. So we got the band we do every weekend as well.
Yep. We got a big full plate of stuff we're doing.
Yeah.
But we
lots of irons in the fire.
Yeah. We always make sure we got you guys something to hopefully make your morning a little bit better.
Yeah, we treat this like a second job, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we've got that. What did I say the last time? We've got that invisible bone in the back of our necks that will not let us slack.
Yeah.
Much as we want to sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you guys, but there's been a few days where I'm like, oh man, I'm tired.
Yeah, I know there's a few times I've thought, why haven't we recorded like 4 episodes? Just go, balls to the wall.
Yep.
Record like 4 episodes one night and then take a week off.
Yeah, no kidding. We're gonna have to do that, man.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that'll ever happen. Like it does happen, but things will come up and we'll be like, dude, we got to get this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like those types of like episodes would probably help if one of us like can't make it, like we had a long day at work or something of that nature, but we still try to figure out a time where we can actually just get together, especially on something that we want to do.
Right.
We really want to put out there for the fellow listeners.
Absolutely. I know I had a holiday that I had to work recently, and it that throws me off completely. Because we try to keep this, to Fridays. Right now we're recording on a Sunday because Friday was not going to work with the work week. That I know I couldn't make it Friday. But literally, it's like stuff happens, and yeah, I mean, it would be great to just get together and spend a night just knocking out episodes. But like you said, stuff comes up, and someone had commented. Molly said, it's hard to remember, like 3 of us trying to get a schedule on time. We'll now add multiple other people to that we want to talk to on the show.
Right.
If we wanted to do,
Yeah, that's something that's like, we've dealt with already a few times where, the guest can talk like Wednesday at noon, and then, guys, we're full-time employed folks. Friday nights are our night to do this. This is until you guys all join the Patreon and make us enough money where we can do this full time.
Right? Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had to work by our work schedule.
I tell you what, out there though, folks, you can put this in the bank if you want. If we get to that point where we're doing this, oh, you bet your asses there'll be a big stream of content from that moment forward.
Yeah, if this is our full-time job eventually, then yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, just imagine having the time you invest in that work week to research and go to locations. Imagine that for a moment.
Right.
Or
putting out multiple shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've talked. We have ideas for other shows and things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what? Let's let these guys get on with their work day. I feel like we're, I feel like we're, what do you call it? We're daydreaming now about what we want to see happen.
Yeah.
And they're probably trying to get their day going.
Yeah, it's because we just want to do this for a living. We don't want to work anymore.
Right. That would be our famous last words too.
Right.
And then, say a few years from now, we are doing this for a living and we're putting in like 80-hour work weeks because of the show. We're going to be like, what were we thinking? I just want to go back to labor again.
Yeah. We made the bad choice.
We made a bad choice.
To find content. God damn it. Let's just be a gaming channel. That's
right. Yeah. One of these days we got to do that episode though. We got to find some kind of like scary game and make a special episode of us playing it. I think it'd be funny.
I think it would be hilarious.
Mm-hmm. It's so fun. All right, guys, let's let them go. You guys out there take care of each other. We're all each other has.
That was the most muffled kiss.
It was so muffled.
Did you put a sock over your mouth or what? I mean, he's not feeling well. So, folks, that was probably just trying to keep you from getting sick.
I'm sure he'll give you 2 kisses next episode.
Right. See you guys.
See ya.